Oh man, I tell you, every day just there's always something that goes wrong. Originally, I was going to start at 8. Well, actually, originally I was thinking of starting at the time of 6 because, as I've explained before, um, during the weekdays, more specifically during Saturday and Monday, there's almost always other stuff I have to do. Um, Usually, this includes going to the market and things like that. So I'd like to just get the stream out the way, especially if people don't show up. Um, I had one subscriber claim I was streaming too early, which I mean, people are up at all types of hours, and so that's whatever to me. But I said, okay, I'll push this back to 8, and I set my alarm. I was still tired because I didn't go to sleep until 5. Because I was originally going to just wait it out like I did before, and now we're up here, and I've got a glove that is mismatched where they're both for the same hand, so I'm very annoyed. Um, I have a person that like sent me a message about a month ago, and I've explained this before. I just have a hard when somebody writes me something, and it's really long. I feel compelled to write something back of a similar length, and it's also a lot of times difficult to motivate myself to write something because I've said before, I don't like talking to people and typing. It's not fun at all. Um, Especially if the message is like really big. So I've just been admittedly delaying in my response to that person. When I woke up, it was such a mission getting all those things together and making sure I had all this stuff. Because with me, I'm truly just really irritated with how things are, like with the way that this person acts, with a lot of the stuff that's being asked of me that I just think is ridiculous. Um, I'm just sick of it. And there have been some like little tiny specks of good. Like as of late, I've my writer's block has been like showing some signs of not being as awful. There, certain things are coming to me and in ways that they weren't, just a few weeks ago at the start of the month, for example. But it just it's so irritating trying to make something and wanting it to be good or otherwise not total trash, and then at the same time feeling like you're just never going to be able to make it because you're going to keep having all this stuff that gets in the way where you can't think of a script. You got to read a whole, it's just always feels like there's some kind of obstacle just in the way that prevents you from doing it. Because like I said, I really wish the events of last year, more particular last 4 months of it, had not happened, because I think if that had not occurred, um many of the issues that have been going on since January, but really since September, would not be in effect. This 10-month period has been really awful. Um, and it's one of those things that people don't understand because they don't have to put up with it. See, I'm sitting here with all my mismatched glory. Like I said, I'm going to reflect my policy where if people don't come in the first hour, I'm just dipping. Um, there's just so much stuff to do on any given day. Is what the real issue is. Because at least when I was streaming at 6, I could come up here, talk for like an hour or whatever, and then go and do the stuff and probably lay down before being asked to come and fulfill this service or errand or whatever. Oh, it's not. It's I was also thinking about the stuff with these jobs, and I'm just kind of, I don't know. It feels like people are really open to pointing their finger at someone and saying you're to this or you're to that, or trying to like call themselves diagnosing the problem, without thinking critically about why this is happening. Uh, so they just kind of like, keep blaming. They'd rather blame the person over and over than take an objective look at what's going on. They're like, let me just see how many times I can accuse this person of something without actually thinking critically about the happenings. I'll just say it's their fault because it makes me feel better. I'm not even joking. Sometimes with these things, I just like when I got up, it was like a speed run of missions, get all these bottles, uh, try to find the right one or whatever for this thing. It's just, man. And then my friend finally called me yesterday after going to see Barbie 5 times every day since Thursday. And I just thought it was so crazy because I was like, why did you go see that movie by yourself so many times? Why didn't you ask me to go? This is my movie. Okay, whatever. I guess I'll have to wait till the DVD comes out to see it with him. So people have been really transfixed by that film. They're taking it to all types of degrees of insanity. Man, I really wish there was a way to put this on the other side, but fortunately there isn't. See if I have another one in here. Does not look like I do. So you can buy 3 or 4 pairs of something and still end up losing all of them. It's really interesting. Like I'm not even saying that as a joke. You can have several pairs of a given thing and then just have like none of it still there. I'll never not be amazed by that. I think what it is that a lot of times the more you get of it, you'll be kind of like lured into a false insecurity. Like, oh, I don't know where the other one is. Well, I have 2 other ones. It's no big deal. And then you kind of just maybe misplace the second one. You're like, oh, I still have another one, so that's no big deal. And then you misplace that one, and then you're just scrambling for parts at that point. Yeah, it's I don't know. I keep telling myself that there's certain stuff I've seen before. It's not a big deal. It's happened already. But I'll freely admit some of this stuff just it's hard for me to not be pissed off. Like I keep thinking about that same ridiculous thing that woman is doing right now, where you have a person who not even 3 weeks ago said that they considered me a friend and sits in 2 3-hour calls with me over a span of 3 days. Then they go over to somebody's house, whatever. Um, then they just completely ignore me for like 2 3 days straight. I'm like, I have to like basically keep prodding them to get them to respond. Like, hey, are you all right? Hey, you with? And they're sorry, I haven't been speaking to you that much. Life hasn't been going very well for me at all. So, because life has been going very well for them at all, I can expect no response at all. And I said before, people online will never understand how frustrating they are, how frustrating the things some of them do are. They just can't pick it up. They really can never put themselves in the position of the other person. It's something I've long realized. And I gave the example. I had someone who tried to like make a justification for it. I said, I've had plenty of times where, I mean, hell, you could say the last 10 months have been a perfect example of this. I've had plenty of instances where I wasn't happy, I wasn't glad, things were bad, things were hard, etc., etc. But I've never decided to take that out on someone who had nothing to do with it for weeks or months on end. Like, I don't have people where I enjoy speaking to them. Oh, something bad is going on, or I'm having this hard time, so let me just ignore this person, not say anything to them for not even like, hey, today I want to talk to anybody. For they'll do this stuff to you for weeks or months. I've seen them do it, and every time they do this stupid crap, you always have like people who justify it. And also, I've noticed it seems to always only be chicks. That's another thing I've picked up on. It seems to only ever be women that are like, well, I'm not feeling too hot today or tomorrow or for the next week or the week after that. So don't count me to say anything to you. Like I said, today's Monday. That last time they responded to me was, I believe, almost a week ago. What day was that? Yeah, Tuesday. So how many? I just want to know how many more Tuesdays do I have to wait before I can just say, all right, to hell with you? Because seriously, like what is the defined period in which someone is supposed to just sit there with their hands under their butt, waiting for you to recover or not be in as bad of a mood as you are and speak to them again? Same person that said they were excited to speak to me 2 3 weeks later after I've done nothing to them is now ignoring me. What an arc. Please excuse this very loud trash truck. But I just find it really funny that you can have someone who says that and then just days or weeks later they're doing this. No, there was another woman a few years back. I think that was the Dear John letter writer, where she got upset over some real life stuff, and then used that as like the reason to just not say anything to me. And it was like the weirdest thing because I'm like, Bimbo, I didn't do anything to you. Like I said, the longer you choose to not talk to somebody over stuff that they know they did not do, the more insane you look for doing that. Like if I go and say, you know what, guys, I just don't feel like streaming this week. Stuff is going on. Okay, but the 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, at a certain point, you're gonna be like, so are you just not streaming anymore? Because you're noticing that it's like dragging out. It's not just a one time thing. It's not just a few days. It just goes on and on and on. That's what I said, man. I really wish I just followed my first instinct, just not said anything to that person. I should have just never even bothered because this it's always the same old crap. You try to let somebody in, you talk to them, you attempt to build something with them, and then they just stab you right in the back every time. And this one found a way to still take me by surprise because like I didn't do anything. Like what a tonal whiplash to have someone go from talking to you for hours on end to like just complete nothingness within days. And you respond and you're like, hey, so what happened? Oh, I just life has been going good for me. I don't know how they're gonna recover from this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just log out that whole site. I'm tired of seeing them online every day, but never being able to say anything to me. It's stupid. Where is it? Oh, they won't let me indefinitely pause on notifications. That's lame. Because I really don't want to see anything else that happens on that stupid site. I truly don't. Too much dumb stuff is happening. Yeah, I'm tired of looking on there and going, oh, is this person finally saying something to me again? Nope. Just another message from somebody else that you haven't heard of before. Oh, this person just uploaded something for the first time in a year. Like, I don't care. Like, I started really having almost I won't call it PTSD flashbacks or anything, but I was reminded of that other one where oh, I like talking to you, and then for a whole must be 5 or 6 weeks, she just wouldn't say anything at all. So I just put my foot down. I said, okay, let me know if you don't want to talk to me. This has been going on for way too long. And then she blocked me. I was like, like it was that same thing of every time I'd see a notification, like, oh, maybe they're finally responding, and then nothing. So I think we're gonna see something pretty similar happen here. Except I'm not gonna sit by for this one. I can assure you of that. My tolerance level for these people has really gone down. You almost think there's a police chase going on. So many car noises. It's all just really unfortunate that people are this way. It really is. But I don't know. I'm more just irritated with myself because I really try to be above being surprised by stuff like this. Um, like for example, that the one that was on Twitter is not very bright. So a lot of the ramblings that she has, I'll put it this way: I am completely fine with just never hearing from the Twitter one again. That's someone who's shown themselves to not be very smart, to write a lot of ridiculous, very hateful things, which is why they put their accounts on private. I'm not bothered by not speaking to her. But the other one, on the other hand, is really getting on my nerves. Isn't it sad too that like there are people, and like I'm not even joking. Like I always think about people in real life I've spoken to or had some kind of close relationship with or whatever. And generally speaking, I can't think of any instances where we take a hiatus from each other. We just don't say anything to each other for a whole like on purpose for a whole week, 2 weeks, a month, or whatever. But you don't think it's sad that there are people, especially like more specifically, there are chicks who really want to do this thing where you might hear from them maybe once a month, once every 3 weeks, once every 5 weeks. Like I don't know. I just think it's like really weird that the people you actually care about and or care about you, they're fine with talking to you pretty much every day or whenever you'd like to for the most part, outside of like some big argument or whatever. But then these random chicks that even the ones that claim they care about you and like speaking to you and all the other little fluffy garbage that they spew out, they're totally fine, and oftentimes trying to push for this, like, I don't know what you would call it, like, artificial hiatus, where it's like this one-sided desire to make you as much of a minor presence in their life as possible. And I'm just tired of it. I really am. Like, I don't have anybody right now, or really, again, as far as I can tell, I'm just like, all right, I'm going to ignore them this week, and then maybe next week I'll say something to them. No, I'm either going to speak to them this week, or make some other attempt. You get the idea. It's like I don't have any. If there's someone I don't talk to for a long time, it's because they didn't respond, or whatever. It's not. I don't have any like purposeful attempts to just not say anything to somebody, especially someone I claim to like talking to. That's the complete face of hypocrisy. So I said chicks are weird. You'll hear so many of them talk about they need space. I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, I'm a person that's on the computer like that. Let's keep it real. So this means that anytime someone doesn't want to talk to me, they can either just not go on the computer altogether, or they can just not respond to me. So, like, because I remember there was a woman on Discord that tried to push the same thing, talking about she needs. I'm like, oh, you don't have to talk to me at all. You can have forever space. I don't care. But I guess what gets me is like when they say something like that, they almost make it seem as if you're forcing them to talk to you. You're not. I don't have those kind of powers. I'm telling you, one of these days I should just do a social experiment where there's some woman who's trying to like speak to me or whatever. I'm just like, I need space. I don't feel comfortable. I should do the same thing back to her. If I should wait, I should log out of Insta garbage altogether, and then come back. Let's see, today's the 24th. Come back on what's a good period? Let's see. This whole stupid saga started about a week ago. So wait about 2 weeks to log back into that stupid site. Because she's one of those people that if you don't respond to her on there, she might reach out to you on some other site. But just log out of that site altogether, and then if she tries to say something, be like, "Sorry, I haven't been messaging you in a while. Life hasn't been very good for me at all." Do the exact same thing back. I'm tired of this, man. I like people will try to say, "Oh, that's so mean to lampoon someone for the stuff happening with." I don't even. I'm at this point. I really don't care because these people don't care about how you feel when they do stuff like this. So you have no incentive to care about how they feel if you parody or make fun of the ridiculous stuff they're doing. So if anybody wants to be a white knight, they can do that on their own time. I'm not in the business of trying to make this stuff. I mean, it's like I would be a lot more sympathetic if I wasn't being directly impacted by their dumb decision making. I'm not even joking. I'm thinking more and more about all the different chicks across all the different websites that have pulled this same stunt. Like there's a lot of them. There was another one on Discord as well that broke up with her boyfriend or something. And I remember like just because it wasn't like somebody says, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you right now because of this thing that was so traumatic for me," and blah 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 blah. And then I was just like, "All right, forget you." I think it was about 2 weeks at least where I waited, and she just would not respond. She just completely started ignoring me, and it pissed me off because this again, it's like it's not even like the person just stops going online. No, they're online every day, but they ignore you, right? For something you didn't do, or like their reasons for ignoring you, as explained by them, are have a catalyst that has nothing to do with you, so you get pissed. So yeah, this is a thing that women online like to do. They start speaking to some guy, and something happens that's unrelated to him, whether it's their breakup with somebody or their whatever thing that they won't specify more often than not, and they use this as a justification to start phasing out or distancing themselves from you. And I'm just tired of it. I really never would have guessed this was an actual thing this group does until having the experiences that I have. Because I'm telling you, when you speak to as many of them as I have, it almost becomes like a foregone conclusion that they're just going to keep repeating the same couple of actions and moves and acts of insanity. Like I've lost count with how many chicks will sit there and tell you about how much they like speaking to you, and then must be 2 3 weeks later you can't even get that bastard to send you one message. It's really nuts. I'm tired of this whole thing. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be like, hey, somebody, I'm going through things in real life, so I'm not gonna upload for a month. Be like, what does that have to do with you putting stuff up on here? I'm going through something. Man, I sent somebody a message where I thanked them for getting something, and they completely ignored me on Twitter. Did they see it? Oh, they didn't even open it. Okay, well, that's like a running gag on there where you try to, like, even if you say something complimentary, you'll just get entirely ignored. Like if someone has enough followers, they will completely ignore you. It's like you don't even exist. I'm not even joking. It was easier for me as a kid back when YouTube still had private messages to get big content creators to respond back to me. Like out of all the ones I actually tried to talk to, maybe only one didn't say anything back. The rest you get a response out of. It's just sad that like people are as I don't know. I guess I always think it's so antithetical to be on a site like Twitter where where everyone's just like posting stuff to each other out of some apparent desire to have a conversation, but then when someone sends you a direct message about the same thing you like, you just can't be bothered to respond to them. Like it's almost like saying, "I like the conversation that's for show," but like an actual in depth one that behind the scenes type thing. No, but whatever. That's a hell of a lot less obnoxious to me than what's going on with these random crazy broads. I just think it's so crazy that you can really speak to one of them, have a decent dialogue, they're laughing. This one even says, "Oh, I was excited to speak to you," and da, da, da. And if something happens to them that is completely has nothing to do with you, didn't cause it, they will use it as an excuse to just cut you out. And this thing with her could go on for another week. It could go on for another month. You have no idea. But guess what? If I say, all right, well, to hell with it, and just log out of that site, I don't have to worry about it anymore. No more torment. We just can't have nice things. We really can't. I said before, the problem I've found with most attempts at having friendships, and even that word is becoming stale, is that many of the people, more specifically, many of the women that you will try to have one with or some kind of correspondence with, they will mess it up royally. I mean, you could, and because I said before, for me, the biggest and most important thing is actually making it a two-way street where both sides are trying to keep it going. Um, and it's like, even if you and the person have chemistry, or I guess you say you like talking to them, they say they like talking to you, it can still completely shut down, break down, and explode in your face simply because the other person is not making any attempts to keep it going. In a lot of cases, is doing the exact opposite. Oh, hello, man, that I claim to like talking to. Sorry I didn't respond to you this month. I just didn't feel like it. I remember there was this one article I read where they said that in people's lives they spend some it's like I don't know how many hours they said, but some number of hours like just waiting. And I said that's really what the chick stuff is. Like, I can go and enjoy drawing, writing, doing a stream, doing a video, talking to someone that actually wants to speak to me. Um, and then like chicks expect you to just wait on them. Like, hey, person I spoke to back in May, if you wait until July for me to get over being mad about something that has nothing to do with you, maybe we'll talk again. And I swear I've tried so hard to be accommodating. I had one person where they're busy with school. I had another person I didn't talk to for a whole year because they were starting their own business. I mean, like I said, if they, there are people who genuinely are just busy with real life, but this is someone that's online all day long, and and like it's driving me really insane knowing that they chose to do this for reasons that only make sense to them. I can't. I'm just imagining them trying to say, "Oh, why didn't you leave a comment on my last two videos? What for? What? If you can't even get the person to respond to you in a message, what's the point of responding to a video and looking even more desperate?" No, I'm just not even gonna say anything. Who's someone else that did this? I'm trying to think. Was there one on Skype that did this? There was a woman on Skype I used to talk to. I had a good dialogue with her, and I remember being so frustrated because it ended due to her simply not logging in her account anymore. Like, she was just too lazy to log back in. I remember there was one woman I used to talk to that got banned off a whole site, and I met her on this other site, and she just wouldn't. hardly respond to me anymore. And I was like, so because you got in trouble for running your mouth on the site we met on, you're just not going to say anything. So I said something's wrong with women, man. Oh my god. I don't even like bringing up pills, but I'm serious about just every time one of them tries to reach out or say something or whatever. I'm like, this one is going to be the final nail in the coffin for even trying to have any semblance of a platonic thing with one of them. From this point forward, it's all going to be either because I'm doing some project or some kind of like work related thing. But as far as being friends with one of them is concerned, never again. This is my final mistake. I'm serious. I don't have time for this nonsense anymore. I can't wait for this person to talk to me again in 2025. Yay. Oh, it's actually starting to not be as hot as it was before. Maybe I'm just saying that because it's earlier in the day instead of the middle burning flesh part. I don't know. I'm just tired of this whole thing. People always say focus on yourself, etc. Like I feel like I do that. I really do feel that way. But I'm not going to pretend as if I don't enjoy some semblance of companionship because I've said before that the problem is when you live with people who don't really want to do anything with you. They sit there and they stare at their computer or they stare at their TV or they sit on the phone talking to their friend for 8 hours. You start to basically just kind of, what's the way of putting it? You start to see companionship from somewhere else. That's actually one of my biggest complaints about social media and just all these devices where it's like people are more connected than ever, but they're more. It's like they're more distant because of it. Somehow, it's this really bizarre conundrum where the more devices have enabled people to theoretically be united or otherwise in sync with each other, the lesser they've been shown to demonstrate that same trait that you would think would be easier to show after what's occurred thanks to advancements in technology. But it's really insane. Like I've seen it where you'll be in a house with someone for 10, 11, 12 hours, and maybe they say something to you about taking the trash out or whatever. But besides that, there's really nothing. They're sitting on their phone or their other device or they're watching TV, and that's it. So when you go online expecting to talk to somebody and then you hit it off with them, but then after a week or 2 weeks, they're just choosing to not respond to you anymore because of things unrelated to you. It's a whiplash. Like, wow. So thanks for briefly making it seem as if there was someone that wanted to speak to me. I guess the joke was on me. I mean, I already said this whole thing is just stupid. Like, I'm not even trying to sound as if I'm some psychiatrist, but I really think when relationships end, it's like 90 some percent of the time the fault of one side over the other. Because there is a thing like growing apart where you have two sides that don't really care anymore, so it just dies because of that. But I'm telling you, a lot of times with this stuff, for some reason, especially with chicks, it's always one side trying to keep it going as much as they can, and the other one is just like, whatever. Maybe I'll respond to him this week. Maybe I won't. I don't know. So many ambulances. Always ready to show up and make a bunch of noise. That line gets longer and longer. They have, I think, 8 cars in line right now. I'm just glad I was able to get one of my favorite spots today. I got somewhere that usually has no one blocking me in. Um, I'd say a pretty good distance from the sun. So that's always one of the better parts of this particular area. But yeah, for a long time, I used to think um, a lot of the stuff that like doesn't work with people is because you did something wrong. Like, even if I think her response was ridiculous, like even if I can still hold on to my belief that it was insane that she did this, I can still, from an objective standpoint, say maybe if I hadn't have said what I had said, then the one from last year wouldn't have blocked me. But then the counter to that was, how much longer would have had to have waited for that person to talk to me again? Because the main purpose of waiting for them was under the impression that eventually you would be rewarded with being able to speak to them again. So if you have no indication of when that's going to possibly happen, uh it's there's no point. What's that stream I did? Where are the payoffs? That's why I was wondering, where are the payoffs? If you talk to somebody for that long and they just can't be bothered to respond to you after a certain point, do you just keep waiting for them under the belief that eventually they'll get over whatever's happening to them and start speaking to you more regularly or at all? Because, like I said, this thing with this woman, yeah, it's only been a week, but we've seen that before where it's only been a week and then a week turns into another week. And then after that, it's a month. So that's why I said I feel like just cutting the umbilical cord right now. Like I said, I'm just going to log out of all my stuff that has to do with her. So I have to like torture myself waiting for this damn person. And that will be that, because it really is driving me insane. And I already said before, I don't even like thinking about chicks. I really don't. Because I think they bring out the worst in men more often than not. Um, I don't know. I guess if I could put it in more simpler terms, I would just say that a lot of times there have been instances where when I didn't think there was any hope, or as far as like whether it be platonic, romantic, whatever, with a woman, I was like, okay, well, you know what? Forget all of them. Uh, I don't care. Good riddance, right? Just when there was a belief that not speaking to them was as good as it would get, I felt much better because like we knew we were at rock bottom as far as there was no expectation that, oh yeah, this woman is gonna want to talk to or anything. When you get dragged back into it with somebody new, and at first they seem like they're decent or otherwise like okay, but then they just quickly devolve into the same old tired tropes. Then you're like, oh man, here we go again. So I just logged out of that site right now as I was speaking. I logged out, and I shouldn't be getting any more notifications from it. And it's not like I said, that site isn't like YouTube where it's somewhere I have to go on. And as soon as the stream ends, I'm gonna log out of there too on the computer as well because this whole thing is stupid. Yeah, Kotsky Merchant. You didn't do anything to me, but because life has been going very well for me at all, I'm going to be ignoring everything you write to me for an indefinite amount of time. So you can still write things. I just won't respond to any of it because life has been going very well for me at all. Even though you're not the reason why things haven't been going very well for me at all, I'm going to take out my frustrations on you by just not responding to anything you say because of this thing that has nothing to do with you. So I hope you'll understand. I'm not going to read any more of your comments. Life has not been going very well for me at all, so I'm not going to respond to you at all. Every time you write something, it'll go in one ear, or should I say, from one keyboard to the shadow realm, and from one ear through the other. So don't count on me to read anything you write. At least for an indefinite time. Maybe I will eventually again, but from now on until uh, some period that has not been defined, don't expect me to read anything else you write. I'm telling you, their logic just astonishes me. I don't know who. Like, I'm not even joking. Sometimes I wish that you'd have one of these chicks donate their brains to science, and we could just probe it and see like what kind of person thinks this way. Like what internally has to be the matter with you for you to like just think of things in this manner. Yeah, I don't know what Akatsuki Merchant wrote. Oh, you know what? I should parody her because on Instagram they have it to where when somebody sees your message, it'll leave like a little scene thing where it says the person saw it. So I'm gonna make allusions to what you're writing without saying. I'll be like, I guess he said something about laughing out loud. I don't know. I just looked at it. I didn't respond to it. I bought some coffee from Starbucks and they didn't give me a straw, so I'm not even gonna talk to you. Yeah, you didn't. You're not the reason they didn't give me a straw, but you're gonna get the punishment for it. And she had the nerve to call me a friend. Hey, that would be funny to make a video like about this. Like when like if it drags out for a month, be like, oh yeah, how I became the forgotten friend. Well, I said, man, every time you talk to one of these chicks, it's just a big waste of time. Like you would be better off just take a picture of an attractive woman, go in the bathroom, and you're better off. You get more results from doing that than talking to one of them. I'm serious. Scapegoated again, truly the pinnacle of existence for a man. I was shocked because, like, okay, let's do a little imaginary thing here, Akatsuki Merchant. Let's say you and I have 3 hour long call. I'm sucking you off. Oh, I enjoy speaking to you. You're such a great person to talk to, friend. Blah, blah, blah. The next day, I don't say anything to you at all after I promised I would. So you're already kind of like, okay, that's kind of weird, but whatever. Then the day after that, we have another 3 hour call. You say you love it, you had so much fun, etc., etc. And then the day after that, you go to somebody's house. You can't speak to me. That's fine. And then for the next couple of days, I won't say anything to you, and you have to like you keep sending me something to try and get me to respond. And I'm like, hey, sorry I haven't been speaking to you that much. Life has not been going well for me at all. And then I just don't say anything to you for like a whole week, and seemingly for even further than that. I've unfortunately even come across a chick who did this to me before, and when I confront her about it and asked if she lied about being interested in me, she suddenly snapped at me. Oh yeah, oh they love snapping. That's why the one that I think is back on that new account, I told you she shocked me when I sent her the message and then got blocked because I didn't like I really saw what I wrote. And again, maybe sometimes when you write something, I understand you can't tell the person's tone of voice, but I really saw what I wrote as a measured attempt to get her to be honest. I didn't curse at her. I didn't call her out of her name. I said, "Hey, look, if you are too busy to talk to me, it's been a month. Just say that you like. Just say that you're not interested." And instead of just responding, with something typed out, she responded with an action that earned her a video that currently has 900 views. And she blew up in my face, so that video is blowing up in hers. Started saying things like she has a life and leave me alone. Dude, you're making me get flashbacks when I was in 8th grade, and I had a classmate who was working on some kind of group project with me, and I guess he wasn't pulling his weight or something. But I remember one of his responses to like people saying, "Hey, you should do more for this," was, "I have a life." And I always remember I had like this mental image of him hanging out with like 50 different people every weekend. Because remember, 8th grade, well, I don't know what the age system over in the UK is, but like 8th grade over here is like 13, 14. So it's like, imagine having some kid who's they're not even close to being, an adult. And they're like, I have a life. Okay, what does that entail? You don't want to be associated with someone who acts like that anyway. I was like I was making the point that the thing with her would not be as frustrating if it hadn't have happened so many times before with different chicks I've spoken to. Because usually what ends up happening is they feel like they basically become, and I hate using this word, but this is truly what it is. They feel entitled to treat you any way they want and just have you act accordingly at all times. So for example, if I told some woman, "Hey bimbo, I'm not feeling too well, so I'm not gonna talk to you," and she's like, "Oh, so when can I expect you to say something to me?" "I don't know, when I feel like it." Nobody would expect her to sit there and wait no damn week, 2, 3, 4 weeks, 2 months for me to send something to her and say hello or whatever. No one would blame her for going, "Okay, this guy is upset over something that has nothing to do with me. It's taking it out on me. I'm done." No one would get upset with her for that. But with these chicks, you're supposed to sit there and talk to them and put up with all their ridiculous nonsense. And I just don't have the patience for it. Because imagine how they'd act if you actually got to know them. Megumi says, "Yeah, it's pretty much the same here. It's a really rude remark, in my opinion." Yeah, because it's the implication is that you're like you're nothing. You are a person who has nowhere near the social status of me. That's pretty much what they're saying. Because why else would they say that to you? Man, I'm telling you, it feels like everything with chicks has become so cartoonish. Like one of my favorite websites is TV Tropes because they have all these different terms and like they point out certain things that have been shown in stories over and over again. And I'm telling you, I feel like I'm on that site every day in the sense of there's so many things that happen with people and places and like it's all repeating. Like it really feels as if it's a story that has had so many stories told that they're all just becoming excessively repetitive. Like, oh, here's this woman who says that you're her friend, just like one of the two chicks in the "Why do women who have boyfriends like talking to me" video. Oh, here's this woman who's depressed over something and uses that as a justification to not talk to you in spite of the fact that you weren't the one who made her depressed over whatever she's upset over, at least according to her. Just like that woman from 2 years ago that broke up with her boyfriend and ignored you for 2 to 3 weeks after that, just because she broke up with someone that had nothing to do with. I mean, it's like everything is just turning into what's happened before. It's all this continuous cycle of the same thing being regurgitated. It almost reminds me, there's like a certain brand of dog. I'm forgetting what type of dog it is, but there's a dog that is known for after it defecates eating its own feces. And it's like the weirdest thing because one, it's nasty, but secondly, the point of expelling that stuff from your body is to, again, to get rid of it, right? To not have it in you anymore. So to like eat it after expelling it defeats the purpose of expelling it. So that's why I said a lot of the stuff with chicks and with these employers, whatever, it almost feels like being that dog where the same crappy stuff is happening again, and it is, but like you're supposed to still take it seriously even though it's a joke version of itself. Like the consequences are real, right? Like the frustration I feel over her wasting my time, and then these jobs, like that's all stuff that, and obviously the fact that if you don't have a job, usually you can't afford stuff, but the things leading up to those decisions are what's like a joke to me at this point, where it's all just this repeating gag. I still think it's funny that a Kotsky merchant was like, "Is this sarcasm?" Like, you really, if I was going to ignore somebody that was leaving comments on my stream, like someone that I've never seen before, or even someone I've seen before, rather, I would just not say anything. So you would write something, and then you just wouldn't see me respond. So let that lesson be learned that if I was serious about ignoring somebody, I wouldn't say, "Oh, but hey, I'm going to be ignoring you for this unknown duration of time." This is a nice looking woman right here. She's got a nice little skinny body, and wow. Well, I didn't get to see the front. Let me see if I can see the front. Uh, oh, she's going in there. I'll wait till she comes back out, and I'll make my final analysis. She really is the polar opposite of a lot of these other chicks that are. Okay, now we can go. Let me see. Uh, All right, the face isn't the most beautiful thing I've seen, but I'd still overall I'd say she's all right. It's just funny that that's like the polar opposite of a lot of these other chicks we've been talking about, like that, like a lot of them being overweight, and then you see one of the skinny ones because it's so rare. Yeah, because it's rare to see one that actually looks like they take care of themselves. I mean, I'm telling you, I've had so many instances where I'll sit up here and see overweight women, overweight women going to get their coffee, overweight women going to get their chicken, overweight women going to get their pizza. And like I said, I don't say anything to them. I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm just, I'm just always reminded of how many of them there are when people are talking about go to the gym and all this other nonsense. And this little girl's locked out of her car. I've seen some of them do it. They go to the pizza place and then they get the coffee, and it's always a big one too. It's always like a large, or there's two larges or the same, and you know it's for them because it's of the same type. I understand there are people who like chicks that way, but you need to admit objectively that it isn't healthy for one to be that way. Well, my biggest problem is that you can't tell someone to improve themselves for a group that doesn't have to do anything and who doesn't even meet their own criteria. You can't tell a person to go and become a millionaire so they can get with chicks that don't have a pot to piss in. Facts. I've stood by this for years, dude. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if they wanted to sit there, like, I guess what it is that I remember all the instances of people attacking me over my physical appearance. And the way that these people come off, you would really think every woman is this dazzling, beautiful, angelic, Disney-esque character that is like so attractive, and when you see her, you can't help but spew out white all over yourself. But in reality, a lot of them are overweight. A lot of the ones that are skinny are not attractive to me. So it's like, let's not sit here and pretend that they're. And of course, I'm not trying to say that because I think someone's not attractive, then they're no one should ever. I'm just saying that it's like the way that people hype up chicks versus what a lot of them actually are. Um, you know, it's like two different things. Because if you really sat there and listened to that stuff, or read that crap that those guys were writing, it was really disturbing. Like to go this hard in the paint for people you don't even know, just so you can attack someone that you don't know. I just think it's really messed up, or it was really messed up. They don't, like I said, they don't do it as much as they used to, because YouTube's been getting harder to act this way with. But it still is a vivid memory for me. Where did she go? She went in that one store and then walks down somewhere else. Yeah, I've heard you mention this many times in streams and videos. Far too many people keep harping on so much chicks being attractive. And I'm telling you, a lot of them are not. But it's like even the ones that you would say are conventionally attractive or that you think are pretty, it's like, are they even worth it? Do you really want to sit here and date someone that wants you to be part of a threesome or begs you for money every time you see her. That's what you would prefer. So even the ones that would like pass off as conventionally attractive, they still do stupid stuff that like I said before, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Mostly ones they aren't privy to the existence of. Well, that's why I said a lot of those guys, I feel like they just sit on the internet and they have this fantasy of a woman and they compare you to it, which is really stupid because it's always going to put you at a disadvantage because you're literally competing with something that they want to be true versus what is true. Um, so that's why I said when you go out in the real world and see all these overweight women and women you don't think are attractive, it really like bursts the bubble that these guys try to give you. Yes, this is what a lot of people tend to leave out. They tend to leave out that aspect. I already said before, man. There's like 3 billion chicks. There's no reason to do all this stuff to appeal to one of them. Like I said before, there was one broad back when I was in high school I was obsessed with. Admittedly, I told that tale last on the stream of the century. Right, the woman I was like so desperately trying to get with to where I was even willing to go to the same college as her. But one day I sat back and I said, she has never reached out to me. She has never reciprocated in any way that could be deemed romantic. She said some nice words when I said how I felt 2 years ago, and that was it. So there's no point. I'm nothing to her. And ever since I came to that revelation, I have not made any attempts to see how she's doing, to look her up, because she is just another random broad. And she could have made herself different by actually speaking to me, but she chose not to. And I can't harp on someone like that. Dude, I always feel so bad mentioning her because that really was like the final one where I was like, oh, this is the one, this is who I should be with, etc., etc. And man, one day I just sat back and I said, this is stupid. I'm done. Because like I said, when I started asking chicks out on Reddit and all these little stupid dating sites, and you keep getting the same result where they either don't respond, they say they're not interested, they blow smoke up your butt, but then don't deliver. It really just it all turned into a joke. Like it became a gag. Like, hey, how many chicks can we get turned down by this year? I can't imagine being fixated on a chick. Well, for that one, I was, and believe me, that was the last one. After that, we would just go through them. Like, oh, here's this one. She's the flavor of the month. Here's another one. I do understand how you would, at least at some point in your life, feel that way about a chick. Well, like I said, I just think it came down to the fact that back then, this is like 2014, 15, it's like just almost 10 years ago. I did not have anywhere near the amount of instances of asking out chicks that I do now, or even had, when I first started making this stuff with any regularity. Because it was really going online and speaking to all those different broads that just made me just get sick of them. It just really destroyed the whole mystique of finding someone. And people still push that stuff to this day. Like, I'm not even joking. If I go in my DMs, I can find two different, the chick that's ignoring me now, and that stupid one that was on Twitter, the one that has like the white woman that thinks she's better than everybody. They both said stuff about, I'm sure you'll find someone. And I said to both of them, I don't have a problem speaking to you, but please stop doing that. I don't like fairy tales when Disney remakes their movies in inferior films as compared to the original. And I especially don't like them when people try to push them on my life, because there's too much evidence, excuse me, that says this woman's stuff is not changing anytime soon. They both tried selling me that crock of crap, and in both instances, I said, "Look, just please stop." Yeah, totally understandable. It was so much different back then. I'm telling you, the first time I ever felt that I would just be alone was back when I was in 10th grade, because that was like the first year where I went online and actually spoke to some chicks, because that was where I like first experimented with the idea of maybe there's no one in real life that you're going to meet that actually likes you. And I thought, I said, this is not getting, because people, but even back then, were pushing the whole thing of, oh, just eventually you'll meet someone. And I was like, it's already been 3 years. And at that point, I'd been to like literally a different school, almost, yeah, for like basically from the first time I ever asked a girl out to that year, I'd been to three different schools. And I was like, this is not improving. I don't have anyone that uh, has shown any interest. It's the exact same as it was back then. Then why do they feel the need to do that? It's so irritating, because these chicks, whether they're uh, you know a young adult or 30 something years old, like the one on Twitter, they want to believe in the fairy tale fantasy that we're all going to, that if they like somebody, not in a romantic sense, but just if they like someone as a person, then that person will end up with another like somebody else will see in you what they saw in you. But in reality, it's we've already explained before, it's very unlikely, because chicks, as we've established, don't ask out men, even the ones they claim they find attractive. So, it's a fairy tale they try to prop up for you. But that's my opinion. I think they do it because they want to believe in the idea that if they think you have redeeming qualities, then somebody else will think the same. And this isn't new. Like, I still remember the chick that was on YouTube that left me, and I showed it in my "Stop Promising Me a Woman" video. There was a woman I met on her. She doesn't. I don't know if she still posts stuff, but um, she said something about, I'm sure the one your Mrs. Right is waiting for you, or working on herself. I was like, God, this stuff is. I don't even like using this word, but it almost makes me want to cringe. Like, get out of my face with that. Seriously, every time somebody starts propping up that magic woman stuff, I just want to vomit, because it's been the same stupid thing posted for years, and it's like, guys, you're not coming into some new show. It would be like, I'll give you an example. Megumi, imagine if there was a show where you are, let's say, again, just hypothetical, I'm just giving this example. Let's say there's a show where you're the lead character. And in this show where you're the lead character, it starts in 2011, and maybe each season it's got its own little story. You have your trials, tribulations, but each season you ask out about maybe 5, 6, 7 women. And each season, sometimes a few of them last a couple episodes, sometimes a few of them last maybe the whole season. But in each season, generally speaking, they show a little bit of interest, you're just not good enough, and then they leave, and then that, you move on. Now, let's say this same thing happens every year, each season, all the way up until season 11, 12. And then some new woman comes and you're trying to be friends with her. She's an interesting character. She's got some little ways about her that you think are nice, you enjoy the company of. And she starts telling you about, oh, eventually someone out there must like you back. And you're like, look, lady, no offense, but we're in the 11th or 12th year of this show. And we've been hearing the same uh, fake foreshadowing since season one. And after 11 years, we know that it's a crock of crap. It's not happening. Yeah, you put LOL. Who are you trying to fool? Yeah, exactly. Who are you trying to fool? Like, that's why I said the triple L was so offensive to me, because at that point, this had been going on for let's see, she showed up. It's like 2018, 2009, yeah, like around. So that's like already 6 years, like 6 full years of nothing with women, right? And it's like, here's this broad who has no experience with getting rejected at all, trying to tell you that this is just part of life and eventually you'll meet someone, even though the same bimbo admits that if you meet someone but it doesn't work out, or you don't meet anyone, Guess who she's going to blame for that happening? YOU. That would be really funny to actually make a show like that where it's every season is maybe like 13 episodes and there's like 2 or 3 love interests in each season. And the one thing they always have in common is they're there for a few episodes, then they're gone, or maybe for a season, then they're gone. And every season, there's some character who tells the lead character, "Hey, eventually you're gonna meet someone, and you know you'll find someone that cares about you and wants to be with you, etc., etc." And every year, it's the same thing. Now the show still remains fresh because there's other like different new things happening, right? Like, hey, now the lead character likes to write, now they like to draw, just whatever other stuff is happening that makes it still interesting. But it's like a recurring thing of every love interest is someone who's there for a little bit, and then their true colors come out as someone that doesn't like the protagonist and they're written out of the story. Protagonist moves on, and then all the way at season 10, 11, you still have new characters coming in trying to tell the protagonist, eventually you will meet, and he's like, look, this is not new. We weren't born yesterday. It's very true, obviously, but the example the example you gave, there's a term. It's like faux. It's FAUX. I want to see if there. I'm pretty sure TV Tropes has the term. It's like faux shadowing. Like it's where there's something that's foreshadowed, but it doesn't actually happen. And that's what the woman thing is. Like everyone keeps foreshadowing. Like eventually you will meet someone. Eventually you will meet this omnipotent being who is so different from every other woman, but just never happens to appear ever any year. And every time it looks like she's there, it's more false leads and red hair. You think I'm kidding? Both of them did the same thing. They kept bringing up that magic woman. I'm so tired of that. I'll tell you, it's real funny because it's like the broad that was on Twitter is like, "Oh, I'm probably going to be alone as well if it makes you feel any better." And I'm like, "Well, first of all, you choose to be alone because you're actively against dating anyone who's not white. Uh, Secondly, I don't. It's not like it's not a victory to me to know that some random person on the computer is single. That doesn't like bring me joy. I'm not happy. That's not something that makes me feel any better. It just goes back to my point of how polarized and alone people are. It's just really funny when she was talking, like the stuff she was writing, and just knowing that um, if she didn't have her racial excuse, it would just be something else. She has to say about being alone if she is the one choosing to be alone. Oh, she has no say about being alone. Yeah, dude, imagine what I would look like if I came out and I said, Megumi, I will die alone. There will be no woman who I end up with. I will be single forever. That's it. Case closed. And as I'm saying this, you see a Hispanic woman going, "Hey, how are you? What's up? How?" Da, da, da. And then you see a white woman going, "Hey, what's up? How are you doing?" And then you see an Asian woman, "Hey," you're like, "Oh no, I only date black women." You understand? And like, I have a right to do that, no questions asked. But you understand where if I'm actively choosing to say, to hell with dating any other ethnic group, and you have proof, or you can infer that there are women who are interested in me, but happen to be from other ethnic groups. This isn't really a tragic tale. This is more so somebody having standards that they're not willing to break, and a lot of the people that may like them, um, because they don't live up to these standards, which in this example are really ridiculous because you can't control what your race is, so there's no way to live up to it. um you know it makes me a lot less sympathetic in this example. She most likely has had a crazy amount of options, but she is choosing to stay alone. She hasn't got that same fear of being alone for not being accepted. No, I told you, women can be accepted for anything. There are women with mental illnesses that have dated and had kids and had husbands and boyfriends. There are women who have killed people that have dated, had husbands, had boyfriends. There are women who are homeless, who have dated, have boyfriends. There are women who are overweight, who have dated, who have boyfriends. There is no. I'll put it this way: you would have an easier time getting me to believe in Santa than you would getting me to believe that there's like things women can do in general that would make them unattractive to any man ever. I think as long as someone has a triangle and a set of melons, they can get any man they want, whether they're a small time offender or a bunch of dumb felons. I truly believe that. And as long as you have a V, you will find someone for thee. I'm fully convinced of that. I don't care what anybody says. There's been too much evidence of some of the worst chicks that have ever lived getting male attention for me to believe that men have standards. Honestly, sometimes I don't even think women have standards. What I think it is that some of them may actually like a guy, but they're too stupid to allow it to develop in a way that would be satisfying for both sides. They find ways to blow it up or sabotage it. Which is why I gave the example of, like, imagine if I met some woman and I'm talking about how great speaking to her is and we're having such a great time and she's so terrific and I'm in love with talking to her. It doesn't have to be romantic, right? And then all of a sudden this week or next week, I'm just like, okay, well, this woman is she's fun to talk to, yeah, but I'm just, she's not good enough for me. She's not she's I'm going through something, so I'm not going to talk to her. What in the world? Oh man. I had this firefly buzzing around me and I was trying to roll up the thing. I know I did not really just run out of stuff here. That doesn't make any sense. Well, that'll just be another problem to deal with after the stream is over. My God. Let me see here. Ugh. Great. I'll tell you, man, cars are the worst. So that's terrific. Man. That is absolutely wonderful. This doesn't make any sense. What happened? I'm telling you, these vehicles, they are horrible. Put my phone on the brake. It's saying I don't have the key, even though the key's right here in my hand. It looks like it. I tried to turn it on to roll up the window, but it's not turning on. And it's weird because when I press the button, it says I still have gas, or at least it just showed I had gas. So let me see. Yeah, this is. Oh man, you just can't win with this stuff, I tell you. And for it to do this right in front of a gas station too. What it is that a lot of times, with some of these older cars, the ones that are like 10 plus years older, they are not honest with how much gas you actually have. So you'll have the little display icon, right? And it'll show where maybe you have like a whole little patch of stuff left or whatever, or at least it'll look like you still have some amount of it left out of maybe like of this much, maybe like this much left, and then you get somewhere like right here and it just won't go. Yeah, this is bad. So whatever. I've had so much bad stuff happen this year. I'm not even surprised. Let me see if I put both feet on there, because some part of it is still working because it's coming on. It just, let's see here. Yeah, great. Well, I'm gonna have to just deal with this when the stream is over. That's crazy, because don't you have to pay to get it towed? Yeah, and I don't even know if this is over gas or over something else. I had enough gas to get over here, and I had enough for it to keep turning on, or at least to show me the display icon. So I'll just take a picture of it and see what happens from there. Given new definitions to the term "I hate Mondays." Does not make any sense. I have not had this happen one time before. This is really crazy. So it'll turn on when I don't have my foot on the brake, but then when I put it on there, it won't. It'll just turn off. This is insane. Oh man, the noise it's making now is even scaring me even more. Yeah, this is. So the car won't start even though it actually does have gas. Yeah, because when I came up here, I had like I always have a certain amount I keep there anyway, just in case. So it's and the noise it's making now is actually kind of unnerving me. It tells me to put the phone on the brake. I click the button and it makes that noise and it like flashes the light. This is whatever. I don't even know what's going on. I'm gonna just call someplace, but apparently. That is so weird. It keeps telling me to put the seatbelt on me if I try that. Foot on brake. It makes the same little buzzing noise when it clicks off. So, yeah, I don't know what's up with this damn thing. Whatever. We'll just have to figure it out at a later time. No, it's coming on, and it does show that there's gas in there. I don't know what this is. I really don't. I'll tell you, I really just hate Mondays. I really do. Does air conditioner work? The light just came on. So I can't actually perform any functions on here, but I can apparently turn the air on. I've yet to acquire my driver's license, but having all these problems with cars sort of wards me off from getting one. Oh yeah, they're a complete handful. I mean, it seems like at any given day of the week, not even given a day, but like just you'd be surprised by how much random stuff can just be wrong with one of them. You could have one of the tires get something caught in there, and then you have to pay to have that removed or have a new tire put on there. You can have um, the what do you call it? The axles leaking, or um, the hubcaps messed up. There's just a lot of stuff that could go wrong, and it's really sad. Well, I'd say it's more expensive to lease one where you have to pay a certain amount every month. Um, those are probably the ones I think are the most ridiculous. But it's it's just a trade-off. You either take public transportation and have to carry everything with you everywhere you go, or have one of these and brave through the storm. Like this would be a lot more manageable if I didn't have to pay $300 a month. Like I literally went to get this thing repaired probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'd say within this month, and I kid you not, it was like 1,000 something to get some stuff fixed, and they wanted to repair the front. I guess to stop the front axles from leaking, they wanted $2,000 just for that one thing by itself. Okay, this is crazy. Well, this problem right here is starting to annoy me. I don't know. It tells me that the gas is good, or that there is gas in it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be coming on. Let me see here. Range 94 miles. Yeah, this isn't a gas problem. This is something else. Oh, no way free. Oh, I didn't pay it. I mean, the thing is, as I've said before, a lot of places and a lot of things feel like when they ask you for some big amount of money, it's like, oh, you only have this once a year, once every 2 years, but they don't take into account all the other stuff that you have to pay for. That's why when that douchebag was talking about, oh, you were only paying 100 a month, it's like, yeah, but if I'm having to buy all my food and be the one that gets all of my own gas, it still is a lot. So that's why I said this whole thing is just so lame. And it keeps saying that it doesn't see the key. The key's right here. My friend said that I'm the only person he knows who has to pay rent every month despite not having a job. And trust me, it was not like this last year or any of the years before that. And the person that has me paying that much actually hasn't gone to work in a whole week. Uh, how's that for irony? ABS brake. This is so weird. I hope I can get it fixed too, because well, whatever. It's been already been a crappy year, so one more malfunction won't be any worse. I can understand giving something every month, but not an amount that would make sense for a person that was working. Dude, it's like, imagine having someone who oh, now this is coming on. So is this thing working or not? Let me see. Apparently not. Wait. Yeah, apparently it isn't. Uh but yeah, it's like, imagine having someone that you're with that you try to, like, you come with them under an agreement, and then they break it, and then you're supposed to feel bad. Like, Megumi, come and you can stay with me. You just have to pay 100 a month, and then I get mad. Oh, now it's 300, or whether now it's 500. Then after the summit, oh, now it's 300. What's that unemployed person? You don't think you should have to pay this much each month? Oh well. Oh, what in the world is this? Break. Is it just not registering my foot being there? Pass airbag. No, thank you. Okay, this thing is all the way backed up. I got it to turn on. Just I didn't even get to mention the glove compartment broke when I hit some bump. So like now the whole thing is just open at all times. And I tried to tape it up, or kind of like fix it my own way without having to go and spend some more money to get that fixed. I'm telling you, these vehicles, they are awful. I'm trying to figure out what in the world is going on here. Is it just not working? It's the trade off. Well, some stuff I just can't afford to get fixed. Like, $2,000 for one thing, I just think is insane. No, man, if things go the way I'd like for the end of this year, you're gonna hear another tale of how awful my relatives are. Because there's one thing they're doing that is even more scummier than normal. Owning a car, maintaining it, and having to keep paying for any problems that need to be fixed. Oh, it's awful. Because at any given point, since most people are not, technicians, that means at any point these things can just turn off, act up, and you have no idea how to fix it. Because at first I thought it was the gas, but it's saying that it has gas. I have never had this issue before. I'm gonna try to probably when the stream's done, try to figure out what the deal is, and then if that doesn't work, I'll just call my insurance place. Because this is not making any sense. We're gonna see if that $70 went to good use. Say cars are such frustrating devices. It's the era we are currently in. Yeah, everything is just so damn expensive. Like it's like almost $60 to fill up a whole tank, right? Then it's like if you want to buy a car, that's like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 right there. And then if you want to fix it up, that could be several more thousands. So it's just a lot of money to even have one of these things. Things aren't supposed to make any logical sense. Oh no, they don't. A lot of weird stuff going on with bizarre choices and nonsensical decisions. Man, this is really destroying my day. I thought I was going to come up here and do my little, 2 hour stream, go and get my groceries, go back and eat something, and then go pick this person up. But I guess not. That noise is making me really uncomfortable. That's the blow up noise. The domino effect too. Yeah, because cars like I mean, theoretically I could walk and go and get the food that way, and that same little firefly is sitting outside, really unnerving me. But it would take much longer, and I definitely couldn't pick that person up now. So that's why I said if one thing goes wrong, you just cannot win with this stuff. No, it is hot out here, and it is irritating having to deal with this car stuff. And it's something I've never seen before. I've never heard that noise, and I really did just drive up here, pull up. Like I've probably driven today for less than 10 minutes, so it's just like completely out of nowhere when that happened. That was weird. It flashed the lights. man, I don't even know what to tell those people. No matter how well you take care of something you own, there is a chance it could play up on you out of nowhere. Absolutely. One day I was driving up a hill, and I kid you not, all of a sudden it went into reverse. Like it started going down the hill, and it pulled up this like emergency light. And I was like, what in the world? And I was able to like put it in brake or park or whatever, and then turn it off and on again, and it worked perfectly fine. I took it up to the place. They told me they couldn't find what the problem was. And I was like, I know I'm not crazy because I've never in all the months of driving that had never happened before. It's funny that they can find something to charge you almost what is it 2,000 over $2,000 for, but they can't find what you actually went there for. Like what caused that problem? Man, this is definitely one of those cases. Now all these little flies are coming in here to make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, you can't put your window up." Oh, damn. No, I'll just call those people and try to figure out what this is. Well, there's a lot of things that are like that. I mean, it's really lame that I spoke to someone for altogether 6 hours in 3 days, and then they've been ignoring me ever since then. Basically, just cause pretty much. Uh, it's really lame that I you know got this car fixed up not even a month ago, and here we are with some new issues. But like I said, I have insurance. I'm gonna call these people. Hopefully, they can fix it or figure out what the problem is. But the whole thing is terrible. Damn kidding. That was not pre-scripted. I came up here. I got up. Got my little tools or whatever to do the stream, and I drove over here. I was like, oh man, I got a good spot to park. Man, I tried to roll the window up to stop that thing from coming in here, and that's when that happened. That's when I knew my technology was acting up on me. But it really does just seem like cars always have something wrong with them. And a lot of times you won't even know what it is until it's too late. So yeah, I'm really just stumped at this. Oh man, this is so lame. Best noise ever. This is so stupid too. No, that gas tank says it's like almost halfway to being full. So I don't know what this is. I really was like, oh my god, did I run out of gas? I've never had that happen before. I don't know, I'm seeing a logo for what looks like a battery. But like I said, I'll find out once the stream is up. And like I said, I really don't like cutting stuff up abruptly, but this is kind of serious. So I'm probably going to end it here, Megumi. I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate Akatsuki Merchant for popping up. Uh, depending on what happens here, I might stream again Saturday. Like, I don't know what's about to happen. So thanks for making an appearance. I appreciate it. And these cars, man, they will always let you down.